15th of November, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. This is Rabbi Furst here at the Yeshiva Nafshi here in Yerushalayim.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Barry. How are you? Good morning, Luke. Good morning, Aaron. And
Good morning.
How's everyone today?
Baruch Hashem.
Good. Hashem is Baruch.
I have to leave soon for a medical appointment.
Okay, you should have a full shalem, Aaron. Quick.
Thank you.
That's Hashem is Baruch. Okay. Yeah, we are. I'll put it on the screen. We're in the middle of and good morning, Rory, as well. How are you today?
Baruch Hashem, thank you. Yourself?
Fine, Baruch Hashem, thank you.
Good, Rabbi Furst. Good.
So, yes, we are. I think it's worthwhile reviewing the Shagas Ari, the Tori Evan, and he's got his questions here, and we're discussing again the necessity, especially in the time of Chazal, when there was a need for sending out shluchim, and they particularly sent shluchim out in the months of Kislev and Adar for the holidays of Hanukkah and Purim, in which case it should follow logically that in places where the messages would not arrive, they would have to keep an extra day out of Suffolk because of the need of keeping the right day for Hanukkah and the right day for Purim. And as the Shagas Aryeh, the Torah Eben proved to us, that we can't say simply Suffolk the Rabbanan. So I think it's worthwhile reviewing it. And let's start again. Here's the last two paragraphs on page 1, if you have it there. And yeah, any volunteers to help out in the reading?
It's the one that starts with Aval.
It says when Tori Evan Hanafki Kislev Nafki, because this is a quote from the Mishnah, and they would go out the messengers on Kislev and Adar. Two paragraphs before the end of page 1.
Oh, page 1.
Yep, page 1. Just to repeat what we did, do a quick repeat of what we did yesterday. Be worthwhile to understand his proofs. And
V'had Nafki.
yes, that's right, exactly.
Okay, I'd like to read, please.
Sure, if you like.
Also, I wanted to tell you, Meir is listening. He's making breakfast for his wife.
Okay, fine. Okay, man. Thank you for
Okay.
what you're doing and still being joining us.
Got drilling in the background, so if it's bothering people, let me know, and I'll relinquish the floor.
So far, so good. Not. It's weird I hear in the background, but it's not bothering me so much. But anyway, if it does, just speak up.
Okay, great. V'ha de nafki Akislev ve'adar mipnei Hanukah uPurim af al gav teleka ve'michash letiklas isur. So this that he goes out in Kislev and Adar because of Hanukkah and Purim, even though there is not, I forget what the Mikash is.
Is to be concerned.
To be concerned for a mistake that would be usher,
Right.
that would be forbidden.
Right. So they sent out the messengers even though that there's no concern, because there's no concern that there's going to be any mistake in doing something forbidden. Bikum va'aseh, in actually getting up and doing something that's forbidden.
So to go out, what is this to go out in Kislev and Adar? Meaning messengers?
Messengers would leave Yerushalayim to inform the people who live primarily in Chutzlaretz as far as they could get to, that the new moon was sighted and based in declared the new month.
Okay, so they go out in these 2 months, even though there really is no concern about making a mistake and doing something that's usher. Because we don't have specific mitzvahs to do things on these days, like we do on Pesach, for example, to eat matzah.
Well, yeah, but primarily there's no Isser Malachim, meaning you're not forbidden to do, there's no it's not like Shabbos or Yom Tov where you're forbidden to do malachas.
Okay. So
But what about making brachos?
Yeah,
On the Hanukkah narrows? I mean, that's is that just because it's the Rabbanan, it's not serious?
No, it is serious. In fact, some actually.
I mean, not as serious as Midiraisa.
Well, there are some that actually say that making a bracha, the batala, could be a question of an issur deraisa, right? But you're asking a very good question. I don't have a good answer to that right now. Yeah, we should really be concerned about that. Why not? I'm not sure.
Well, the next phrase, become va'aseh, to go out and do. That's why I mentioned matzah, because I was thinking that, there's a difference in that there are things that you're specifically commanded to do, which if you do them, which if you don't do them, it's forbidden. So
Right.
that, for example, if you have the wrong day for Pesach and you eat matzah and you eat bread, so that's a different kind of a mistake, because you're actually doing something that's forbidden as opposed to not doing something.
Right. I mean, you're correct about that, but equally concerning is the doing a malacha. I mean, you're not allowed to cook on Yom Tov you can cook, but there's things which are also in terms of being also from malacha. There would also
Right.
be concern. So he's
Right.
mentioning the general concern of doing the malacha. That's what he's emphasizing here.
Right. So the difference being that on Hanukkah, all you have is a bracha levatala, which is less significant than all of the other things we just mentioned.
Right. Apparently so. Right.
Daha lo asire be'asayis melacha and and this is not, it's not forbidden to do malacha.
Right, then on, on Hanukkah and Purim, you have no prohibition of doing malacha.
Right. Okay, got it. Yesh lomar, there is to say, de parsume nisa, that the principle of publicizing the miracle, chashuv tefei, is more important. Kid amar lekaman, as it says further on.
Right.
More important than what?
No, because since there's no malacha involved, so you think it's not necessary to go out and inform everybody when the exact date of Rosh Chodesh is. But then there's another point which makes it a little more significant. There's a significance of Persumi Nisa, so it could be for that reason alone that's enough to send out the messengers because of Persumi Nisa.
Got it. Va'afilu,
Isn't it, okay. I just want to ask, Rebbe, if the people who are stuck, out of the loop, so to speak, would him like for Pesach. If they didn't know when Pesach was, they certainly would know within a day or two, so they would just not eat chumetz for an extra day, just to be careful.
That's,
I mean,
that's what
they're just not going to say, well, we know when Pesach is.
no, of course. So that's
Right?
why that's why the Yom Tov Sheni Sogolius was developed, exactly for this reason.
Right.
That they would now keep second day Golis of Yom Tov, and that would be a fail safe.
right, the question
Right.
we're asking, Barry, is why don't we do the same thing for Purim and Hanukkah?
Because it's not midiraisa, and there's no isser involved like there is with chumetz. That's the whole point. No, isn't that the point?
No, but they did go out. They sent the messengers out in spite of that fact.
Right, but they did send them out, but what was at risk was not on the same level.
We
They just
understand
wanted-
that. We understand that, but that's not going to solve the problem. Why you don't keep 2 days then? If you're sending the messengers out, it could be that they were even Machal Shabbos to do it.
Because the risk of starting Hanukkah a day early or a day late, whatever, is not on the level of eating chumetz on Pesach. I mean, I don't even understand why they had to go out.
So the
Because
answer right now is Persumi Nisa, because of Persumi Nisa. Right?
Yeah, we're possible. We have to fulfill the opportunity of Hanukkah, but it's not on the same level.
Look at the next paragraph. Don't stop.
Okay, all right, I'll listen.
Lamar Sveka de Rabbanan.
One line up before that. The filo Hanukkah the Purim divrei sofrim. Even though that Hanukkah and Purim are divrei sofrim.
Okay, even though Hanukkah and Purim are rabbinic, Nami Yachamiru La'asos Tet. Also, one could be strict to do 9 days of Hanukkah, Tet Yemei Chanukah, 9 days of Hanukkah, Ubet Yemei Purim, and 2 days of Purim. Misafek, because you have a doubt. Shema Ivaru O Chisaru. maybe it will pass or it will be missed.
Well, meaning this is referring to the month. Maybe the month was made Ibor, or maybe it was lacking. Maybe it was Mole or Chasser. Since you don't know, so
So what's Ibor? Ibor means it's 30 days.
30 days, 30-day month.
Okay,
Right.
so and Chasser means it's 29.
Right.
Okay, so we have a doubt. Maybe it's 30 days, maybe it's 29 days. Below Shayach, and it's not fitting, Khan, here, Lomar, Sveka de Rabbanan, when you have a doubt in a rabbinic, the Hakel, to be lenient, de Amrei Nikil Hayom Yoma.
Yosef Meidach Yoma. This is one of the main things I want to try and impress upon in this, why we're learning this. It says it's not shy here to say Suffolk the Rabban and the Kula. Everyone's going to tell you, you'll ask everybody. Barry, you go out today, meet somebody on the street who's wearing a kippah and tzitzis.
Yeah.
Ask him, tell me, why don't we keep 9 days Hanukkah? He'll tell you, Suffolk the Rabban and the Kula. You'll ask 100 people, maybe one person will say he doesn't know, and maybe 99 will probably tell you Suffolk the Rabban and the Kula, but it's not true. That's not the reason.
Okay, and it's not, why it's not true is
Because why? Because the Amai Nikili Bahi Yoma Yosem Meidach Yoma. Why should, again, by Hanukkah you've got 9 days, right? And by Purim you have 2 days. So which day are you gonna be makel with? Right?
Neither.
So don't do it all. Don't have Hanukkah and don't have Purim.
wait, why do you have to be makel with 1 day?
Again, the question is, you want to be Suffolk the Rabban and Lakula.
Right?
So you don't know, Hey, the 25th of Kislev, is it really the 25th of Kislev or not? So we'll be makel and not do it. Right?
Right.
Well, that doesn't make sense. I mean, we want to observe it. The question is, how do we negotiate it?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
There goes my.
If you're going to say Suffolk Rabbanan the Kula, then you're going to say the day that might be the first day that you think might be the day. Don't do it at all because it's a Suffolk Rabbanan, and the second day that you think might be the day, don't do it at all because it's a Suffolk Rabbanan. So therefore, you ended up not doing anything.
Right. Or
I see.
But
really,
if you do that,
the second day would be the 26th or the 25th. It's like when you daven on Sukkot, the Korbanos is it the 5th day? But Kolamoid is it 6 days Kolamoid. Right?
no, if you hold that position and you wind up not doing anything, so you have to know that it's just illogical. It's not the right approach. If you wind up saying, well, this day and this day is therefore we don't do anything, so you know that you've arrived at a something that's ridiculous. So it's
exactly
better
right.
it's better to do 9
exactly right.
days. It's better to do 9 days to get 2 menorahs and do 9 days and then okay, I did the best I could.
That's right. So you should do 9 days because it's ridiculous. You can't say,
Yeah,
no, I don't know, it's the 25th, so I'm not going to do it today. Okay, tomorrow's the 26th, maybe, or maybe it's really the 25th, right? So okay, I'll do it, but because of a Suffolk the Rabban Lakula tells me not to do anything.
yeah. So you know that if you're going with that train of thought or that that philosophy, you know that it's not correct if you arrive at the no Purim, no Hanukkah.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
says-
so-
He says, "V'lo shayek kan lomi." You can't say here now. Subject Rabbanan lahakel. Damai niko b'hayi yoma yosema idach yoma. Why should I be Michael with this day more than I'll be Michael with another day?
Right.
Now, v'i azlas. Go ahead. Let's continue.
V'i aslas b'tarvaihu, and if you will go with both of them, lehakel, to be lenient, ha akaras mitzvos Purim v'yom echad shel Chanukah bivadai, in which case you will be uprooting Purim and the first day of Hanukkah, certainly.
Right.
So therefore, as Barry says, don't do that.
Right.
Can't do that.
You can't apply this. You can't apply this formula by
Is that how I
Hanukkah.
sound?
Yeah, that's exactly how you sound. Don't do that. V'kevan delo efshar b'al korkach nizil b'tarvaihu leha-chamir. And since that it's not possible, since that's not possible, perforce we go with both of them strictly. So based on that, we should do 9 days and 2 days,
Exactly.
but we
Now-
don't.
Right.
Well, wait, we don't do that now because we have the perpetual calendar.
No, we do 2 days of Pesach. We
What
do
did they
2
do then?
days. The same
No,
thing.
I'm talking about Hanukkah and Purim.
But I'm saying that you can't say because nowadays we have a fixed calendar, because then you got to answer, why do we do 2 days of Purim, Pesach? We have a fixed calendar for that also.
Because since we had that established practice, they didn't want to do away with it. They could do away with it.
Right. So why don't we have an established practice for Hanukkah from the time when we did not have a fixed calendar?
That's the question, right? That's the question.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what we're trying to answer. That's what we're discussing here.
Right,
Why is it
because
different for
what-
Hanukkah than Pesach?
Because of the Isurim that's involved.
No, we just established that we don't say Suffolk Urbanan Dekula.
No, not just about a cooler. It's just that what you're risking is much more serious.
But nevertheless, you don't want to do an Avera, even if it's a less serious Avera. You have the same desire not to do an Avera. You can't
Correct.
say, well, because it's a
But
small
there's no
Avera, we're gonna violate it.
But Lou, there's no Avera involved with Hanukkah. If
Yes,
any-
there is. There's a bracha levatala. You said that yourself earlier.
Yeah, okay, but then again, you're getting back to what the level of the Avera. I mean,
It doesn't matter. If an
It
Avera
does.
is an Avera. You don't want to do any Avera,
but one's Midir Rice and one's Midir Rabbanan.
right?
I
But we said it doesn't. We don't say because it's rabbinical. We're not going to do it.
They don't
Look,
say it, but that's
on
the
the
way it comes out.
other hand, you have to think about it from this point of view as well. If you're thinking about the bracha, right? So it's true that if you don't know which day Hanukkah is really supposed to come out on, or Purim is supposed to come out on, so it could be that the day that you think you're doing it is really the wrong day, and the brachas that you're saying are really brachas levatala. right? So what's
So
the
don't make a
solution?
bracha. So don't make a bracha, just light.
Oh, right, right,
So
that would be the
if I'm
obvious solution.
if I was stuck out in you know out in Baltimore, Maryland, and I was isolated from Yiddishkeit, so I would
Hey, I've got
continue.
relatives in Baltimore. Don't say it's an isolated place. There's a big, wonderful community there in Baltimore.
There is.
Yeah,
I didn't
the
know that.
Chaf K
No,
is
that-
housed
In
in
the United
Baltimore.
States?
Barry, you have to realize, Lou, you have to realize that someone, if you live outside of Philadelphia, you fall off the end of the world. You know, have to realize that how Philadelphians.
Hey,
Yeah,
I lived in Philadelphia for 8 years, Rabbi. Be careful.
Lou, we know you lived in Philadelphia for 8 years. We're still recovering from it.
Boy, yeah. Well, listen, Baltimore, don't knock Baltimore. I got relatives there. My mechatonim are in Baltimore.
Okay, no
But
problem.
No, but seriously, if I'm
let's-
stuck somewhere, if I'm in the Philippines or whatever, or I don't know where there wouldn't be a Chabad shul, but let's say
There's
I'm stuck
nowhere that you can't find a Chabad.
somewhere, right.
You can't escape, Barry.
An island somewhere and I was stuck. Really true. So they would come by canoe, I guess. But so I would get 2 menorahs, and I would light without a bracha the first night, if that was a shaila, and then I work it out and shine it. That's all.
All right, so Suffolk bracha's the hot kill. You don't know, so light without a bracha.
All. I mean,
But then you're
it
uprooting
seems like-
you're uprooting
it
the
seems like
bracha.
But okay, but it's not the normal situation. I have to do the best I can. The Rabbanim don't want to say that they don't want to poo-poo the Rabbanim. It's this, they don't want to give us that attitude. It's a Rabbanim, but that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. So you do 9 days and you do the first without a bracha, and you make do.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna.
What do they do? I mean, what do they do in a place like Borough Park?
Yeah.
Everybody has 2 menorahs.
The same thing as in Baltimore. Those what do they do out there?
Let's see further on. He's gonna now he's going to bring a proof why you don't say. Okay, let's. I want to skip the next 2.5 lines. Okay.
Okay.
And start with V'kevan shekain. Therefore, because of this, because this 2.5 lines we did yesterday, it's basically a proof that when you have a situation like this of Suffolk D'Rabbanan, and by applying that rule of Suffolk D'Rabbanan L'Kula, you're not going to fulfill the mitzvah entirely. You don't say that rule. So he just brought a proof to that. So now after proving that, he says V'chein shekain dekuli alma. Have it there in the middle of the 3rd line.
V'chein shechein dekule ama. And therefore,
since this is so, and since this is so,
since this is so that everybody everybody knows sheyesh lehachmir misafek, that there is to be strict when you have a suffix, the ein lachush lesak litakala, and we're not concerned about being lenient.
Right now for this again, since this is so that you're not going to say Suffolk D'Rabbanan L'Kula, but Kavan Shekavan, since this is so, everyone would agree and knows, everyone knows sheish lahachmir misafik, and everyone knows that you should be machmir from suffik, right? Meaning think about the situation. That fellow out in Calcutta, right? He knows that you have to be machmir, right? You know he has to be machmir in this case. That's what they taught them in Kedah. You have to be machmir in this case. So if that's the case, right? Ve'ein lachash latakala, and you're not afraid that there would be a mistake made, that there would be some isser done of doing something wrong, like doing malacha, which was prohibited. You don't have to worry about that.
Itrochi shlochim lel.
Lameli, atruchi shluchi lameli. Why should we trouble a shluchim to go out for Purim and for Hanukah? Just let everybody know. Listen, boys, right? Wherever you live, right? If you don't know definitively that it's a month that was Uber or a month that was Chasser, meaning you don't know when the month was declared. If you don't know that, so you know you have to be Machmir, and you have to do it for 2 days, right? So why do we have to send out the shluchim to tell anybody? There's no reason to tell everybody. Just let everybody.
What is the lamed lamed?
Lamali. Why should we? Why do I need it? Why should we do it?
And the atruchi?
Actually, to trouble the shluchim, to be sending out the shluchim. Why are we troubled to send out the shluchim? It's unnecessary. Everybody will know.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Right? Everybody.
Wouldn't you say, Rabbi, that it would be for the same reason that we send them out for Pesach?
No, because that's Pesach and the other Yom Tovim. We're worried about somebody doing Has v'Sholem. We can't just say be machmir stam, right? Because we're worried about somebody doing malacha unnecessarily, right? As a prohibition. But here there's no prohibition that we're concerned about. So just let them keep 2 days Purim and 9 days Hanukkah, and then don't worry about the brachas, like Barry said, and keep 2 menorahs going, and you're okay. Everything's fine. Why do you have to send out shluchim and then trouble them to? It wasn't an easy job to get on a horse or a camel and leave Yerushalayim and go out to. It wasn't even safe, right? There were bandits and wild animals to. It was a job which was a dangerous job.
What about reading the Megillah on the wrong day?
Read it both days. No big deal. What do you do? Read both days and you're covered.
And if you have to, read it without a bracha. Read it
without a bracha.
That's right. That's all.
Bracha doesn't stop you.
But then you're uprooting the bracha.
Okay, so but you have no choice. You're in doubt. You're in a subject brachas lahakil. You have no choice.
Right.
So send out the messengers so that you don't have that problem.
Is it worthwhile sending out the messages just so people can make their brachas?
Yeah, of course.
Well, maybe. Let's see. Right now, he's asking the question. Okay. The question is that he's asking the question: why trouble the shluchim to go out? Right. Just let everyone just say everyone in these areas have to keep 2 days, and that's the story.
Ella dechaishi Rabbanan le barachus
the brachas levatala.
The brachas levatala. Here, see here? Got my point.
Hold on.
Okay. Rather,
it's not over yet. Not over yet.
Not over till the fat lady sings.
Yeah.
Rather, the rabbis were concerned about a bracha levatala. Shall Yud Tet.
Shall Yom Tov Sheni, right?
Yeah.
So the second day of Yom Tov,
right?
B'tefillah, the Kiddush ukerias haTorah. So they're concerned about bracha levatala on the ninth day. I'm sorry, on Yom Tov Sheni, on the second day, in the praying and in the kiddush and in the reading of the Torah.
Right.
The Haftarah.
And
And the Haftarah. The Halayla, and at night, the Dach Nochi Upurim, and the Hanukah Upurim, Barachas Haneros, the lighting of the blessing of the candles, Megillah, and the blessing of the Megillah, the Karias HaTorah, and the reading of the Torah, the Halayla, and the night.
Right.
What does that mean? And the night.
Meaning the Kriyas Megillah, right? Kriyas Megillah at night. That we make the brachas on the Kriyas Megillah at night.
Okay, so this made my point.
Right, exactly. So the question was again, why send out the messengers? It's a trouble to send them out. Just let everyone keep the 2 days, right? And so they were chayish. The Chazal were concerned that people would be making a bracha levatala on the second day, in the davening and in the kiddush and kriyas Torah and haftorah and at night, whether that's with kiddush, I guess. And so in Hanukkah and Purim also the brachas on the Neres and the Megillah, and therefore that it was worth sending out the messengers that they should be able to get to as many places as they could to say definitively what day Purim or Hanukkah will start or fall out on, right? Obviously, those places that they didn't get word, right? They didn't get word, and they were too far for the shluchim to get to. So obviously, like Barry decided to enlighten us with the idea that let them just keep the 2 days without making brachas. If they didn't get word and they didn't know, they'd have to keep the 2 days without brachas, right? Okay, so that's basically the situation as it is now. That apparently at the time of the Beis Hamikdash, those places that lived very far away, Calcutta, for example, they live very far away. They would apparently keep 2 days Purim, and they would keep the 9 days Hanukkah. 9 days Hanukkah, and we see this as well. We see this now, even in our time with Purim, at least. There are many places, especially here in Eretz Israel, that they don't know if they were walled cities at the time of Yeshua ben Nun, right? So since they don't know, they keep 2 days Musafik on Purim. But we'll get to that. When we get to Hilchos Purim, we'll do it for more. Now let's go to the next thing. The Teres Zakenim. Okay, the Teres Zakenim. That, as you see, he was Rabbi Menachem Mendel, Rabbi Meshulem Zalman Auerbach, was born in Vienna in the year 1620. So that's about 400 plus years ago, right? That's also before George Washington. Okay. He studied in Krakow under Joseph Bach. Bach was the father-in-law of the Taz. Okay, so he has commentaries on the Shulchan Aruch. Okay, as follows. It says on the 25th of Kislev, right?
I'm going to bow out because the noise is really bothering me. It's very hard for me to hear. So I'm going to let somebody else read, and I'll just try and concentrate on listening.
Okay, Barry, would you like to take over?
Is the Kohen's not available?
Mayor, would you like to read a bit?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
good, very clear.
Okay,
Good.
okay. B'kavchei b'Kislev, on the 25th of Kislev. Akasha Avudraham B'Shem Bal Ha'itim. Or is that
We
18?
actually saw this. We saw this kasha and we saw the teretz before. But since we saw the Torah Eben and his explanation, I want to review that question again.
Okay, so what is the question of the Avudraham
Yeah,
in the
right.
name of the Baal Ha'itim?
Right, and these Abu Dram lived in a generation after the Baal Etim, and the Baal Etim lived during the 1200s, and so did the Abu Dram in the 1200s. So that's going
Okay.
back a good 900 years. That's before I don't know. Figure out who you want to before
Okay.
Ivan the Great. I don't know.
I've been the great. Okay. So the question is, Lama ein anu osim tisha yemei Hanukah kamo she'anu osim b'chag hasukot tesha yamim tishi safek shmini. Okay. So why don't we observe 9 days of Hanukkah like we observe the holiday of Sukkot for 9 days? What the 9th day is a suffix, though, right? Is that what it's saying?
That's right. The question is, meaning it was that they did not, and we don't keep 9 days because of suffering. We don't do that. The question is why not, right?
Uh-huh.
So that was the question that was raised. The teretz is
Okay, v'teretz nipnei shechag hasukot mina Torah. Oh, so the Chag HaSukkot is a deraisa. V'hach miro Razal.
Rizal. That's Chazal, right?
Oh, Chazal. Okay. Al sfako lefi she'ein anu kov'in ata al pi hariyah.
Okay, so that's the reason by Sukkot that we keep 9 days is because it's midorais, it's Torah, and therefore Chazal were strict on the suffix that we not kovea al pi the Riyah now, so therefore we don't know exactly, and therefore we keep an extra a ninth extra day by Sukkot. But now, what about by
I don't get it. What is the reason we do it by Sukkot?
that it's a subject deraisa l'chumra, so we have to be machmir and keep an extra day because of the suffix.
In other words, we can say because it's deraisa, therefore we have to be machmer, but we can't say because it's rabbanan, we can't go cooler.
Right,
Right.
you'll see exactly.
I mean,
You'll see that's as we proved before, right? As we proved before,
Right. In other words, you can't you can't play both ends.
right?
Okay.
Okay. Go on.
Avo Hanukah.
Okay. Aval Chanukah shehi midivreihem hem amru lasot chet shmona yemei Chanukah. Okay. So Hanukkah, in what their words, they said to observe 8 days of Hanukkah. Okay. V'hem amru cheshbon hamoldot I'm not sure what Aleph Kaf is.
Right, so, Adkan,
Oh, Icon. Oh, that's the end quote.
right, now,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, so they said Cheshvan. That's the molad of Cheshvan.
They mean the cheshbon, the fixing of,
see the-
they made the fixing of the new moons. They made they fixed the time of the new moons, right? Chazal fixed the times of the new moons.
Oh,
So when
Cheshvan
it
is
came to
like an
Hanukkah,
accounting.
the counting, exactly.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the month.
Yes.
First.
This is the fixed calendar we're talking about now?
Basically, yeah, basically, they fixed the calendar, basically, correct.
Okay, Umahara.
So again, in this answer is not, he's not saying suffix the Rabban in the Kula, if you notice, right? That's not his answer, right? His
No, but he's
answer,
dancing around it though.
well, he's started
He's
asking that.
dancing around it.
You're right, yeah.
He doesn't. He
because-
doesn't say it, but he uses it in practice.
Well,
I mean, practically, that's what's happening.
no, not at all, not at all. He says, Avo Hanukah midivreihem. He says Hanukkah, which is according to the rabbis, they said Hanukkah is going to be 8 days. Barry, they told you, Barry, as much as you want to keep 9 days, you're keeping it for 8 days, and that's it. Okay, that's it. 8 days. I don't care where you live. You're keeping it 8 days. And they also told you this is the day that the month is going to start. So you don't have any sfekas. There's no suffix here. It's all vadai. The rabbis took care of it for you. You don't have to think about this anymore.
Because of the calendar.
Exactly. Because
Okay, but what about? I thought he's all talking about this all pre-calendar.
No. Abedrum, they had the calendar then too. The Abedrum, they had the time of the Rishonim, they had the Goyim, they had the calendar. They had the calendar already. That's a historical point where when we actually started using the calendar, Hillel HaZaken developed the calendar, but it wasn't put into effect until generations later. Exactly when they started using the calendar, I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay, but now let's so basically the Abedrum's answer, right, is that it's not a suffix. Hanukkah, they told you 8 days and only 8 days, and he also told you when the month is going to start. So you don't have any suffix. That's it. Now, let's see further.
Okay, let's see. Umaharar Mizrachei Chadusho Al Asmag. Wow. Halachot Hanukah Kavav. That, I guess that's a source. Katav Zecher Livracha V'yesh.
He wrote in this as quote. This is what he wrote.
Oh, okay. So this begins the quote.
Right.
Okay. V'yesh Tamua Lama Lo Nahagu Bizman Hazeh Lahadlich Tesha Yamim Misafik Kamo Biyom Tov. Okay, so he wants to know why at this time we don't celebrate 9 days because of this the suffix, this doubt, as of because like Yom Tov. Okay, Shahare Megillah Af Agav de Rabbanan He Hayu Tzrichin Lichrot Yudalid V'Tetvav. Okay, the 14th and 15th. Misafik E Lav Mishum de Dilama Yudalid Nikva Bismano.
You're right. Ve'ika. Leave the read the brackets. Ve'ika.
I have Ve'ina.
Yeah, the one more word after.
Ve'ika. Okay, Ve'ika b'tetvav mishum v'lo ya'avor Esther, Tet Kaf Zion. Okay, that's from the Megillah then.
Right, because it's,
Kimo, Shekatav HaMordechai b'Megillah. Okay. Ramaz Tisha. Oh, there's a hint.
right.
Remez.
Okay. Well, that's that's like the simon. Remez means like the simon or the
Oh, okay.
the chapter heading. Okay, I'll tell you, we have to stop. We got a little bit overtime anyway. We're going to review this paragraph that we just did today. We'll review it again tomorrow, and we'll continue on further, Mr. Shah.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, very good. So
Taking a break?
Mr. Shem, we'll take a few minutes break. Roy, you should have a good afternoon. Hope to see you tomorrow. And we'll start the share and the Mr. Brewer share in a few minutes.
The one, maybe we can answer the question tomorrow, but
Yeah, go ahead.
why, if they made such a big project out of traveling to Calcutta, because they wanted Hanukkah observed properly, so why didn't they do that also for Yontif, and they wouldn't have had it been 2 days? What was, I don't understand why we made, why the people in charge made such a big
We're
deal about
taking a
getting to
break.
Calcutta because of Hanukkah. Why didn't they do the same thing
I'll be
to
right
get to
back.
Calcutta because of Pesach?
No, they did. Actually, they did. In fact, they did. But there was, so why?
So then why did they have 2 days?
Because there was still some places that maybe they wouldn't get word of. They wouldn't get to certain
Oh.
places.
No, okay, so that's the whole idea with Hanukkah. They didn't get to certain places, so you had 2 menorahs. That's all.
Us, right? So that would be the case. If for some reason they didn't get to you, so you'd have to take out 2 menorahs, and because you wouldn't know. You're right. You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't make brachas, neither the first days or any of the other days. You wouldn't make brachas, but you'd light the menorah, and you'd light 2 menorah. First day you'd light 1 menorah. Second day you'd light 2 menorahs. One with 1 candle and one with 2 candles. And then the third day we'd light 2 menorahs, one with 2 lights, and one with 3 lights all the way on.
Right. That's all.
Right.
Okay. All right. We're taking a break.
Take a break. We'll see you everyone in a few minutes, Mitzvah Shem.
Thank you, Rabbi.